620L. Yeah, in my mind, Amelia's over-rotating the finish of the sixes. So she kind of keeps going through and keeps opening up at the end. For me, it feels like it should be kind of straight through now and then finish with the rotation as opposed to slide. Yeah. And then on the 20s, we'd had a little chat about this in the messages, what was going on. No, let me stay on the 6 first, excuse me. Nadia, I really like your move. I was trying to get you to pause a little and see this target. That's awesome. I really like that. I'm not, yeah, the move that Amelia's making, it's all right. Actually, the beginning's really good, just that extra rotation to finish. But Yora and Nadia, I really like this this picture here. That's awesome. Really nice timing, keeping that donut picture. And then on the 20s, there's some really good ones in there. Oh, I like the engineering as well, that long L, super good. I love that if it's working well. It does look as though Amelia is rotating virtually in place, which gives for a super deep vertical. I think it would be nicer to have just a little bit of translation at the start of the move. That would give you guys a little bit more comfort. Nadia, that this is a good start to the block where you are allowing Yora to make his move and then you rotate. That's really good. Matthew, that was a nice one on the tail as well. We'll talk a bit more about the 20 as we go through. It's okay. A bit clunky, those issues we talked about on the 20. And there's one here. Okay, so on this one, we have a poor finish. So let's have a look what's happening to the 6. Yeah, we have different angles happening at the finish. I think Nadia, Amelia, and Matthew are going to two slightly different places. It looks like Matthew cuts a little bit too much under this way, as opposed to trying to finish at 180 through the center. You see how the shape, in fact, we can kind of trace it back to the shape of the first 6. It's not super, it's not parallel and perpendicular. For me now, I would be wanting to go kind of straight through, but because you see the other pair is offset slightly, maybe Matthew's thinking he needs to finish over here, and then you have the fact that Amelia tends to over-rotate. So we've got two very different angles at the end of the 6. That leads to a poor 20 build, jumping on the grip super quickly. So the fix there is to go, all right, we've got a poor 6 finish. Let's stay off the grips. Let's really let Yora come into the center rather than it Nadia jump over onto him right there, because now we've got Matthew on the wrong side of Yora at the start of the block. And then Yora doesn't get such a good start of this block, and I'm pretty sure it comes from the build. So we trace that from poor 6 build, poor 6 finish, poor 20. So we've done 3 mistakes now when we could have pretty much just let go of the mistake here. This would have been the time to let go of the mistake, stay off grips, reset, bring everyone back into the center. But now, Nadia, do you see that Yora hasn't joined you at the beginning as much as you've been expecting, because you kind of got charged over to him a little bit. But now, Nadia, you making your move. You're moving directly underneath Amelia, and Yora is still over here. He hasn't crossed the center line. He hasn't started moving his hip down to here. A little bit like the block 1 that we see. Very, very similar. But again, this is coming from a build. And so now the centerpiece is staying the wrong side of the line, which is great for Amelia now. She's got loads of space, but not so good for Matthew, who was also compromised at the start of the block by being shaped over here. So that's kind of my assessment of why that 20 doesn't work. And it's not your key, Yora. So there we go, on a 20 that has a better build. we can see how Yora is getting his hip moving at the start of the block, which is really nice. And then Matthew ends up on the right place as well.